Hello and welcome to this week's Controversial Corner. I am Sam Turner and I will be hosting this week's Controversial Corner. As you can see, I am back home in my home in Wales and I am actually sporting a Forward Madison jersey. Yes, if you haven't heard, Forward Madison are a team in the American third division as such, called the UCL. I used to, of course, do the MLS podcast. I'll talk about probably that in a MLS podcast. It will be coming out in the future, discussing why I'm sadly not going to be able to do it. But of course, I'm still interested in American soccer. And if you listen to the podcast, you would know that I originally lived in Wisconsin, and Madison are the first team to come out of Wisconsin in terms of professional football, soccer, so I say. So I've been supporting them. They played their first match last night against Chattanooga, and they lost 1-0. But I got a shirt sent over from America, and I absolutely love it. It's got flamingos, it's pink, it's blue, it's white. Absolutely love it. But yes, this is not getting on to the main topic of today's Controversial Corner, and that topic is whether the FA Cup semi-finals should be held at Wembley. Now, I'm going to get straight into my opinions on the matter, and then instead of having the Twitter poll first, we're going to have it second. So my opinions on the matter are that it is not a good idea. So let me just get this stat up. Since 2008, the FA Cup semi-finals have been held at Wembley. Before that, I guess they were held at the Millennium. And before that, they were actually held at a different neutral venue, which was normally kind of halfway between each team. So often it was held at like Villa Park or Hillsborough, etc. So I am of the opinion that it shouldn't be held at Wembley because of a few reasons. So A, it's a long way to travel for a lot of clubs. Say if you're a Sunderland fan or a Newcastle fan, you have to travel all the way down to Wembley for a semi-final. It's not that fair in the end because it's not as close. And I know you could say that about the final itself being held at Wembley, but because it's a semi-final, it's not necessarily as important as the main final, I guess. So that's reason one. Reason B is, for me, it takes away the novelty of going to Wembley, because if you want to go to Wembley, and if you're a team that go to Wembley, it should be in a final, not a semi-final. That's like praising you for getting to the semi-finals, which is of course a massive achievement for a lot of clubs, but it shouldn't be achieved. You should go to Wembley when you actually achieve the feat of getting to a final. So to get to Wembley in the semi-finals, this for me is a bit ludicrous, and those are my two reasons as to why it shouldn't be held at Wembley. The semi-final shouldn't be held at Wembley, because it's just not right in my eyes. But so let's get on to your opinions on the matter. So here are the results of the poll on Twitter that we ran. It basically was asking you the simple question whether you think that the FA Cup semi-finals should be hosted at Wembley, and the results were as follows. Sorry, I'm just getting them up on my phone now. There was 62 votes in the end, so a very good turnout for this one. 32% of people said that yes, it should be held at Wembley, and 68% of people said it should not be held at Wembley. So that was a resounding kind of win as such for the people that don't think it should be held at Wembley. So people are obviously thinking that maybe the same lines as me. Of course, if you have any other opinions on the matter, you can contact us and we'll try to read it out next time. Jake actually, of course, the other member of our podcast, another member of the commentary box, he had a say on Twitter as well. He said he was unsure on this debate topic, so hopefully I would have convinced him here. But before we go, of course, last week's topic was Scotland, and we did have a few opinions on that after the episode went out, and this was an opinion from, I think, Sam Jones on Twitter. That is Jonesy. Let me just get that up, find it. Jonesy1603 on Twitter. He basically said that Scotland should have fared better against San Marino when they did one of the teams they did beat in their Euro qualification matches. And they should really be able to keep up with Belgium and Russia in their group if they have any hopes of qualifying. So thank you, Sam, for those opinions. But yes, before we go, the results of the FA Cup semi-finals have already gone. I'm recording this after the Watford versus Wolves game, and that actually ended up 3-2 to Watford, winning it in extra time after they got a draw in the 90 plus 4 minutes to make it go to extra time. So Dini and Delafeu got on the score sheet, with Delafeu getting on twice. And then in yesterday's game, Brighton sadly lost for me because I'm originally from East Sussex, and Jake's also originally kind of from the East Sussex area, probably both wanting Brighton to do well. Sadly, they lost to Manchester City 1-0. It's a bit of an annoying result, just being 1-0, because it was so tight at points. Brighton could have snatched a draw and got it to extra time, but it wasn't supposed to be. But yes, thank you for listening to this week's Controversial Corner. Please do get involved and check out our Twitter for the next Controversial Corner topic, as we often do a poll beforehand, and our Twitter is @BoxCommentary, so go follow us. But yes, thank you for listening. I've been Sam Turner, and see ya.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you'd like to get involved with us online, you can do so on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat. We do lots of polls and posts on there. That is all under Box Commentary. And then secondly, if you'd like to listen to our podcasts on different websites and devices, you can do so on iTunes, Spreaker and YouTube. All of those are under the Commentary Box. And then lastly, to personally get involved with us via email to ask any questions or queries, you can do under the email of the commentarybox.contact@gmail.com.